Hello everyone, my name is Sunny and today I'm actually gonna try talk less. I feel like I keep doing this thing where for some reason I'm convinced that every minute of the video has to be filled with me talking, and sometimes I feel like that's going a little overboard, but I guess it depends on your taste, so let me know what you actually enjoy. But every once in a while I just feel like doing it a little less, or just straight up posting a quiet non-talking video. And I feel like for this one I really wanted to do that. However, I do have some things to say and it's not gonna be a lot, so I'm just gonna say my piece and then just let the speed paint run probably, and hopefully it will sound a bit less frantic and panicky than it usually does for some reason. But yeah, I digress. I just really wanted this to be a less talking video, especially because last time I was like in this video I talked so much less, and then I proceeded to talk like throughout the entire duration, more than I ever did before. But yeah, today I'm drawing Alora mostly, and then some little Voltron chibis, because it's been 10 years since Voltron the Legendary Defender has been out. And as probably the title of this video suggests, this was my first fandom experience, and I feel like ever since I've been so like into the fandom culture, and I'm kind of enjoying myself thoroughly. And the thing with Voltron is that it kind of started as this like very beloved series, but since it got so popular so quickly, and there was a lot of fan theories that I'm not gonna get into too much, but if you know, you know. And the fan theories were so like deeply rooted in the fandom and in the heads of the believers that when they ended up not happening, there was a lot of people upset about that. And as much as I would like to say that that was the only thing that kind of ruined that fandom a little bit, I don't know, there was some questionable decisions that the developers made, and especially in the way they were kind of playing up some things as if they were supposed to happen and then something completely different happened, or just some plot points that were kind of just chaotic. I'm not gonna get too much into detail about anything because I don't want to, and honestly that was not the part that I remember about it the most, because quite frankly to me it still was an experience that I remember very fondly, and that gave me so much good energy and good vibes and inspiration. Till this day, majority of the artists that I follow are the ones that used to draw Voltron fan art. And I follow a lot of artists, and that's how I discovered Voltron in the first place. It was just people making fan art on Instagram. And it's funny because for years after, I have not been using Instagram at all, and now I'm kind of back to it because of some of the friends that I made along the way, and they've been using Instagram mostly as like a form of communication between us. So nowadays I'm kind of experiencing it all over again after so many years, and I've been seeing a lot of fan arts of different series that I am watching currently, and it has given me a lot of inspirations to make my own pieces. And by the way, I do have an Instagram account. I'll link it down below. I'm still kind of finding my footing, and especially with the reels. For the life of me, I can't figure out how to not make the quality completely garbage, but that's for me to figure out, and as soon as I will be posting some stuff. So if you would like to be updated and maybe, you know, participate, you're more than welcome to. But yes, Voltron, I just saw like a bunch of fan art of it, and I was like, these are so beautiful, these are so like great character designs and everything. And then I was like, hold on, these are the same characters. And so I kind of connected the dots and found on one of the posts what was that, and then I found the series itself. The funniest thing is that I think that was my first ever Netflix series that I watched, or like even got to know that Netflix exists because of it. And so I kind of associate the Netflix intro sound with Voltron, and it used to get me very excited because of that. And there's so much that I kind of wish that I remembered better, because I can't really truly tell you my opinion on it right now as we are, because I genuinely believe I would have to rewatch it from the beginning with kind of the ideas and preferences that I have, and I guess opinions that I have like developed throughout the years, and judge based on that. Because I feel like a lot of my opinions that I remember are just the opinions of people, like complaining online and being like, okay, this was fine, but this was ass, okay, this was this was that. And as much as I would like to say that I'm not easily influenced, I kind of am sometimes. And especially when it was my first fandom experience and my first show to share like that with other people, like unknown people to me, it was kind of difficult to stand my own ground in my own head, because I was never a person to like go and argue about anything with everybody. So I can't genuinely tell you what I would think about the show as a whole right now, because it has 8 seasons. I was not gonna be able to watch all 8 seasons, but I plan to in the future, so maybe I'll let you know if I do rewatch it. All in all, it's very weird to see that everything happened 10 years ago, and it's really weird to think that 2016 was such character-defining year for me, because not only Voltron, which was my first fandom, my like whole Instagram feed afterwards and till this day is kind of defined by that. And if there ever was like the Morgan Freeman show on Discovery Channel, that was the scariest thing for me as like a kid. And my family could attest to that. I was very scared of space, and Voltron was the first thing that I was like, you know what, this is not scary, and it's also really cool. I really like this. 2016 was also famously the year of Vine. I think if you ask anybody, they would say that was the year of Vine, probably. And so there's a lot of humor that I kind of gathered from that. It was also around the time when I started to branch out into watching non-native language speaking people on YouTube. And that was also very character defining for me, because I started watching Markiplier, like Jacksepticeye. There's been such a big influence on me as a young person growing up from this guy that I genuinely would be a different person if I wasn't watching him. And there's also 21 Pilots, which I believe Stressed Out came out in 2016, and ever since they've been my favorite band. Precise, it was Heathens, after which I was like, this is good. But that's basically because I only heard like 2 songs beforehand, and 2 songs is not that much to decide that somebody is your favorite band suddenly. But yeah, I was very much so in my exploring new music phase, and that was also a first for me at the time. I also have been doing that ever since. It's just that I've branched out to different types of music that I explore, but I'm still so very fond of the pop punk of that whole era of Panic at the Disco and some Fall Out Boy, but especially 21 Pilots, and popular at the time rock songs of other bands like Bring Me the Horizon, or like Foo Fighters, or Pierce the Veil. And I remember being very happy kind of becoming this like alt music, pop punk, rock girly, and I was so happy with myself. And I don't know, I know it's cheesy and it's edgy and it's like completely like everybody goes through that, but again, that still defines who I am today, very much so. And I don't know, it just feels weird to kind of see how there is something to it, that 2026 is just 2016 all over again, but modernized. and more mature, I guess, in some ways at least. It's so true for some weird reason, and it's kind of fascinating to think about. So, I don't know. Let me know if you had any experiences like that, maybe what you liked or started to enjoy or discovered in 2016. And what would you say is kind of the connecting factor between the two? Because as much as it was a weird time and I was like kind of beginning to be a teenager and define myself as a person, and it was a very turbulent time as well, I do believe it was kind of the beginning of things getting better. At least for me. And so I remember 2016 very fondly. And that's why I decided to make this piece. Because I just wanted to kind of, again, give credit where credit is due to the things that I really love still and that defined me as a person back then and are still a big part of me and my life right now. And that I still love dearly. So, like I said, I'm not gonna talk much more. I'm not gonna go into detail onto anything. I don't want to get into the Voltron drama because there was a lot. I was just kind of seeing it and not really participating, but it was hard not to feel the consequences of it when I was so deeply in the fandom and like surrounded myself basically with just the fandom. I think that's about it. I think that's where I'm gonna leave it off. And when it comes to the drawing, I really like Alora. The chibis are a little iffy on me still. However, I thought it would be weird if I didn't include the Voltron 5 in the fan art. I just wanted to make Alora look a little celestial. She's just a gorgeous princess, like a space princess, so like, how else would you portray her? Hope you enjoyed this. Hope you enjoyed finding out a little bit about me, or maybe reminiscing on your own like memories and past from 2016 as a result. And yeah, let me know if you can relate to any of the things that I said as well, because I would definitely love to hear about that. So yeah, that will be all for me, and I will see you in the next one. Bye.